Hey everyone. It's been a bit since I'm trying to figure out how to cover this and even finding the right time, and now that time is finally upon me. Hey, with this work, which is inspired by the landmark Thomas Pynchon novel Vineland, though apart from the same basic concepts, that they may make a lot of distinctive changes. That, unless I have not read it yet, though I will do so at a later date. It's the any praise or critique I have for this movie is going to be self-contained. So, with that in mind, let's talk about how the a recent Best Picture winner, One Battle After Another, which is written, directed, and co-produced by Paul Thomas Anderson and stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, Teyana Taylor, and introduces a promising newcomer known as Chase Infinity. So let's begin. The film centers around a former revolutionary, he known as Bob, with his alongside a large cast of characters such as Perfidia, played by Taylor, her another one known as Deandra, played by Gina Hole, and I also really enjoy the, the amount of characters they have in there and how many ways they can and actually play up a certain situation and find a way to hide in plain sight from a group of First Authority figures, especially the main antagonist of Colonel Lockjaw, played by Sean Penn. I'd say he definitely deserved the Best Supporting an Actor trophy for this one. And it is definitely an unconventional approach to like being like an epic war film, but thankfully, as he has proven time and time again by myself and others, PT is not a conventional director at all. Oh, so, it's definitely his most expensive and arguably ambitious his film to date. It's been having coming out cost $130 million, and you see a bit of that money on the screen. And it's definitely refreshing again to see more and more of this being done practically, on location, especially given the circumstances where an authority figure's malice can only be aided, and often being hand in hand with their absolute incompetence. And yes, on top of everything, there's also a large bunch of black comedy in there, and very offbeat ones at that. To me, you definitely see more of him trying to remember the phrase that pays on the the phone at the health and wellness center than you do in the promotions. I can tell you that much for free. It may be have a rather mammoth runtime of 2 hours and 42 minutes, but certainly does not feel that way, which is always good whenever you can make a movie that's 3 hours long feel like a fraction of that time frame because of how, which actually makes sense because of how quickly things move, and especially like how they managed to convey that in the editing cinematography, giving us as much information as in visually as you can, and without having to rely on character exposition, how much I speak, and just how they will slip in and out of places with just moments to spare before or the standard issue white vans come in, and let's just say, hey, you would avoid them for the same reasons, the same way you would teach your children and not to who accept have rides with them for candy or V-Bucks or whatever they be handing out these days. Is I wouldn't know. especially since it's more likely that you'd be gotten by someone you do know as we don't these days. I was looking at this and Sinners, the latter which I actually saw a trailer for this at initially, as something of a duet of masterpieces. I mean, even though I'm not certain what the long term impact will be about all the winners nominees this year, this is one of the ones I'm fairly confident I can file under the Future Classics X banner. And even though I wasn't certain about how well it would do given its concept and how charged it is lately, he I'm actually was pleasantly surprised to see that I actually managed to bank around $212 million worldwide, based on this premise. It especially got a lot of praise in large formats, and even at home, just watching on my displays, it's definitely a one I am pleased I finally got around to seeing. And if this ends up being something like a last hurrah for this current and era Warners, who may or may not be part of Paramount Skydance soon, we shall see. He, but if so, it'd be a good one to go out on because we're already seeing the effects of what's happened, been with New Direction, and about it's like less career driven than a tour affair and more or existing IP, especially stuff based on video games and comic books. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that by any means, but variety is definitely good for any creative and indeed economic system to function. Um, and as for what it means as a parable for the current times, that's fully for you to decide. Right. And as I was saying, if I had to say whether these people were gonna still be rolling around in a white Chevrolet or actually working at the Burger King they were trying and failing to intimidate people at a bit ago, oh, I would say yes. I think I would like bacon hanging on my sandwich today. Hey, and I would like to try the new cherry float Coke, especially. Hey, and let's just say, hey, that's it's another movie that kept me guessing from its first shots to its final frame. Aim and that the Colonel's fate is definitely satisfying. I won't say how, which give an idea about how much I ended up getting a nice little giggle at the gallows humor on display. Like I said, not a conventional approach to a war movie, but PTA is not a conventional filmmaker at all. Bottom line, one battle after another is definitely a movie that deserves its accolades, and it certainly ranks among on the best award winners of the decade thus far. Or I tend to look at it as a companion piece to my favorite film of last year, Sinners, and albeit in a very different way. And with that in mind, I know a lot of you are looking forward to my full whole look at Legends EA, and it's currently in production as we speak. I'll definitely will do everything I can to get it to you within the next 5 days, and I will see you all again very soon. So take care, everyone.